This is a video demo of your Desmos Activity 3 family of functions. I am doing one example, and the one that I've chosen is the square root function. You'll find that on slide 8. So it provides me what the graphing form looks like and 3 sliders, one for A, H, and K. It wants you to move the slider around to see what happens to this orange locator point. So I'm going to move my A slider and notice that it flips it up and down. I'm going to move the H and notice that it moves it left and right, and it changes the front number of the point. I'm going to move the K slider and notice that it moves it up and down, and it changes the second number or the Y value of my point. I can also grab the locator point in orange and drag it, and notice that it changes my slider. If I move left and right, it changes the A slider. The only way to flip this up and down is to move the A slider. Once you feel comfortable with the sliders and what happens to the point, you're going to move on to the next screen. Your slide 9 is matching the square root functions. So you have a purple, and your goal is to get the green to the purple. You can drag the sliders. You can drag the locator point. And by dragging the sliders and the locator point, your goal is to do an exact match so that they land on top of each other. You are given the graphing form, and in part 2, you're asked to actually type it in. But now you're going to replace the A, H, and K with the numbers necessary to match the graph. So y equals A being 2. I'm going to use the square root symbol. I can find that in the keyboard next to the ABC. Next is the letter X, minus. H in my sliders is 3. I'm going to move 1 to the right and type in plus K, which is a 1. Notice that my red graph is now on top of the green and the purple. Once you have 3 matching colors, or your red on top of your others, you can move on to the next screen, and this is a demonstration of slide 10. Notice that I have 5 pieces of information, and I have completed that information for the black graph. Just so you know, you can click on the graph and be able to see where an intersection point is, including the red graph, and see where the intersection points are. Your goal is to fill in the domain, range, intercepts, and the locator point for your red graph. Then there is one question. Notice that my black graph has a negative A value and my red graph has a positive A value, and I've given you those values. Does changing the value affect your answers here? If you believe the answer is yes, click yes. If you believe your answer is no, click no, and please give me an explanation. Once you are done, go ahead and hit the submit button and move on to the next slide. You have a total of 23 slides. Please reach out if you have any questions.